Oh, my screen went to sleep again. But there we go. Better? Hey. All right, everybody. Oh, can you turn off these lights that are on the overhead pointing at the screen? Yeah, you got it. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and start yelling at you. So don't yell. Stop yelling at each other. So welcome to this month's Tulsa Web Devs Meetup. We're here thanks to some sponsors, especially Tech Systems. Where's Pearson? Oh, there he is. So Pearson brought food today, and Blixa and Project Make It are doing our video recording and streaming. Tulsa Web Devs, if you don't know, is part of Techlahoma. Techlahoma is a statewide nonprofit volunteer-run organization that does over 30 monthly meetups, 2 annual conferences, and sponsors free local events. Techlahoma has a code of conduct, so be sure to check it out. It basically says all Techlahoma events need to be safe, welcoming, respectful for everybody who is there. So if you see anything at a Techlahoma event that you think someone or makes you or someone else feel unsafe, uncomfortable, or unrespected, then we want to hear about it. If you go to the techlahoma.org site, there's a report an incident link near the bottom of the footer links. So we take it pretty seriously. There's an active team that monitors anything that gets submitted, so that's really important at all events for us. So also, if you don't know, the average Web Devs meetup costs about $200 or so, depending on what we get, which we don't have pizza tonight. Thank you, Pearson. Woo! we got not pizza. Woo! But there are ways you can support Techlahoma to help sort of fund these meetups, other meetups, some of our workshops and programs. Right now, we're doing a big push for the license plate, and Kendall can show you. She has applications for you to fill out.
They cashed my check.
They did?
Yep.
All right. Yep, and you have stamps. Perfect. All right, so she's got basically everything you need. So this is a sample. If you don't like the Oklahoma bird license plate, and you want to help support Techlahoma, if we get 100 commitments for this license plate, they cost $40 for a custom license plate, and Techlahoma gets $20 of that. And then they go on sale for like the remainder of the year, and anybody who buys it, like it's going to be a really good fundraiser. So please, 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 if you haven't already, go ahead and go grab your application and send it in. We have to have the 100 commitments by the end of this month. So that gives us a little over 2 weeks to have everybody's mail sent in. Like I think it has to be at the OTC by the end of the month, right? Not postmarked. So I think you have to send it at least a week earlier than the end of the month. So some of us have already gone through it. If you need help about filling in the form or whatever, and Kendall has the forms and everything you need to get ready to mail it in. So do that. You can also go, if you have Amazon Smile, we're a nonprofit listed on Amazon Smile. If you can subscribe to Twitch channels, we have a Twitch channel, which also gets us some money. You can donate at the website. You can either donate one time or you can set up a monthly donation. You can ask your company to sponsor. Right now, also, if your company might be interested in sponsoring 200OK, we still have we have unlimited local sponsor slots, and then we have a couple of headline sponsor slots that are still open. But we need to fill them by the end of this week, so to get you on the t-shirt if you want a headline. So if your company might be interested in sponsoring, keep bothering them sort of up the stack to get them. Hopefully I've already contacted them because I think I've contacted like everybody in Tulsa about it. So tell them to just look for the email from me on that one. Okay, so then 36 Degrees North donates the space for us. Thank you, Levi, for staying with us tonight. And they have free workshops and co-working and desks and offices. And actually, this Wednesday is free co-working day, right? Yes, so this Wednesday, if you want to check out this place during the day and kind of see what it's like to do co-working here, then you can come on Wednesday. It's free co-working all day. There's a few of us here that either have offices here or members here. And then there's a bunch of other of our meetups that meet here. I don't see anyone from JS or UX or anything like that. So we'll skip to Django Girls Tulsa recap. Is anyone here who was at Django Girls Tulsa? So a couple of coaches. Someone else has to come talk about Django Girls because I get sick of being the only one talking. Do I have to call on people? Jeremy, you just want to yell it from there? Recap Django Girls? Showed up and helped people. Okay. Oh, look at that. They already retired our page because it already happened. But Django Girls, if you don't know, Django Girls is an intro to coding workshop that we do. It's for women. It's a Friday and Saturday event. We basically take up to 36 students, I think we can fit. And then we have coaches. We have about 3 students to a coach. And the coaches help all of the students get through sort of a install Python and Django and then set up a very first Django web application, which is a blog, by the end of Saturday. So we had that on March 22nd. I think we had about, I'm looking at Kindle, I think we had about 28 to 30 students in total. Nobody knows but me. I don't know the exact numbers. We had about 28 to 30 students that showed up, and I think a lot of them got through it. But anyway, it was a cool event. And since no one else is here to help me out on that one, I guess we just have to go to the next one. Thanks a lot, y'all. No help at all. All right, so I mentioned Free Co-working Day is Wednesday. This Friday, there's another event with Anik Raman, who is the founder of Moat. If you've heard of Moat, they're the advertising and analytics company, so he's going to be here. I guess they just had a big acquisition by Oracle, and he's going to be talking. He's from Oklahoma, and so he's going to be talking about just that experience here at 9 a.m. And then next week on Monday, how to build a website, more traffic is a good thing. That's at 6 p.m. here at 36 Degrees North, so that's another web-related workshop that's here. And then that Wednesday next week, Tulsa Data Science is here at 6:30. And then May 7th is our next Web Devs event. That's Hack Night. So it's the first Tuesday of every month. If it's not on your calendar, stick it on there. And then May 17th is 200 OK. This is our big Tulsa Web Developer Conference that we do every year. The early bird tickets are on sale. They tend to sell out. So if you haven't bought your tickets yet, go to 200ok.us, which I messed up the link in here apparently, but so 200ok.us, grab your early bird tickets, and we've got some really cool talks. We've got everything from genetic algorithms, and then APIs, hacking your brain to improve your thought process, understanding iterators and iterables in JavaScript, and then WTF, our serverless apps. So all of those, plus we have our lightning talks. They're not up there yet. I'm looking for Max, but he's not here to update the website yet. So anyway, those early bird tickets are on sale. The event is May 17th. Put it on your calendar. Go back to your companies and tell them, if you have more developers at your companies, tell them to put it on their schedule, because it's a really good, high-quality web developer conference, and it's right here in Tulsa. So like, your boss doesn't have to send everybody to some other city to get a web developer conference. They can just stay here and send you one day on Friday. That's that one. All right, so am I missing any announcements? Anything else that we have to announce? Darren? Tulsa Lambda Lunch.
The Tech Systems office.
So that is April 30th, right? This one?
Yes.
All right, April 30th at the Tech Systems.
Yes. Details for that is in the location in the meetup.
All right, cool.
There are parking notes for those who want to figure out how to park in the area.
All right. So Lambda Lunch is April 30th at the Tech Systems office, and details, including where to park when you go there, is in the Meetup group. Any other announcements to make? Anything? Going once? Going twice? Okay, let me refresh the wiki page, see if anybody added anything. All right, Cody has center stage today. So I guess we don't have to do a pitch because you'll all be listening to Cody. So normally we do pitches. Cody, do you want to just come up and intro what your talk is going to be in like 2 or 3 sentences, and then we'll break and let everybody get food and stuff, and then you can get up here. So come on up and just do a quick intro to it.
Hi, I'm Cody West. I work for a company called GitLab, and I was going to do a demo and introduction into a feature we have called Auto DevOps. So, yeah.
All right, so are there any last minute additions, any last minute breakouts, hack sessions, things that people are going to be hacking on? Basically, is anyone else going to need a room other than this big room to do stuff in? Cool. All right. Well, so grab some food and drinks and cookies. Pearson said he ordered a ton of cookies, and you all are not eating enough of them. So go eat more cookies, and then we'll have Cody start his talk here in about 5 or 10 minutes. Sound good? Cool. All right, thanks. See you in 5 or 10.
All right, y'all ready to get started? All right. So, I'm hoping this is a conversational thing and like a unconference type setting. So it's not a.
Please make sure you repeat questions or comments so the live stream can hear you.
Sounds good. Yeah. Cool. Is that better? Perfect. All right. So again, I'm Cody West. I work for GitLab. For those that don't know, GitLab is a single application that manages the entire software development lifecycle. And today I'm going to show you an awesome feature in GitLab called Auto DevOps. So Auto DevOps provides some predefined configurations which allow you to automatically build, test, secure, deploy, and monitor your applications. You can just commit your code and let Auto DevOps do the rest. Let's go do that and take a look at how this works. So I've already got a new project set up in here, and it's just a simple Spring application. There's no CI/CD configuration, there's no Docker file, nothing. So let's hop in the web interface here and edit some files. So I got my file open here. I'm gonna make some changes. And when I'm ready and I've made those changes, I'll just click commit down there at the bottom to start a commit. I'll stage my changes by double clicking them. I'll enter my commit message and set up my options here. And for this, I'm gonna create a new branch and a new merge request and hit commit there. And it'll redirect me to the new merge request form. And we'll fill this out with a title, description, any of the other fields that you wanna use. And then we'll go ahead and hit submit merge request. So that'll bring us to the newly created merge request, and it starts a pipeline. So, we good so far? Anybody have any questions? Seems like a good pause. All right. So Auto DevOps automatically starts a pipeline for us, even though we haven't configured any CI/CD in the project. So let's go take a look at that pipeline and see what it's doing. So we have 11 jobs here. The first one it does is build. So we just make sure that we can build the project. And if you have a Docker file in your project, it'll automatically use that Docker file. If you don't, it'll use some Heroku build packs to detect the project type, and it'll build an appropriate Docker image for your project type. Once the build is done, we kick off the testing stage, and that runs some code quality checks, and it'll go into the container environment and check that for vulnerabilities. It'll check the app's dependencies for vulnerabilities. It'll scan all the software in the project and check the licenses on those and see if they don't match our policies that we've configured. It'll do some static application security testing. And then finally, it'll run the unit tests that you've configured in the project. So once all your tests pass, it'll set up a review app for you by deploying your container to Kubernetes. And then once that's deployed, it'll run some dynamic security testing and some performance tests. So let's go back to the merge request and look at it. So once we've deployed our review app, the merge request screen will update here, and we'll get a URL to just go and check out our review app. So we'll click into that, and this is my review app here. Hello from GitLab. Looks good, so we can go back to the merge request. And then as the tests finish, it'll continue to update the merge request screen with more and more information. So you can see there that we're tracking like our memory usage. It's using Prometheus to scrape some metrics out of these nodes. And it'll run a code quality report, and you can see that we improved our code quality by removing a to-do from that controller there. And then you can see we improved our performance metrics on one point in comparison to the most recent deploy. And we'll scroll down and look at some of the more stuff we have here. We have a security scanning section here, which we've expanded. And you can see that we detected one vulnerability there that we can just click in there, and it'll take us right to the controller where we can look at it. And then there's a header missing. But once you go through all that and you fix those problems, and the reviewer is ready to go ahead and merge that in, you just will merge there at the bottom. And that'll kick off a new pipeline since we're creating a new commit in master. So we're going to take a look at this pipeline too, and you can see it's a little different, but it's familiar. But instead of going into staging, we're going straight into production. So continuous deployment at its best, right? Seems a little scary, but it is configurable if you don't want to deploy straight into production. You can set it up to do like a manual deploy where it's like a button that you have to go in and click after you review manually, or you can have it do like a rolling deploy after staging, or it's configurable. So let's go take a look at our environments and see what we've deployed so far. So I stopped the review app already at this point, and that's why there's only the one available and the one stopped. In our environment section here, there's a handful of tools available to you, but the one over there that I have highlighted is just a link to the live application. So we'll click that. And again, this is the Spring application that we've set up. Navigate around, everything looks good. We'll go back to our environments here. So there's actually more to this page than just that. And you can expand your environments here, and you can see the deployment. And the little pod there where it says instance, and it's got that little green square, that's like a deploy board. So that's just one pod running our application. And we can scale that up pretty easily in Auto DevOps. We just go into our settings and go into CI/CD. And we add a specific variable in there called production replicas. And we set that to 5. And just picked a number randomly. But we'll save the changes once we're done with that. We'll go back to our environments. And there's a redeploy button available for us. And when you click that, you can watch it actually spin up the new pods and roll out the application to them. And eventually you want to see, all five pods there green and running your application. So pretty painless. Just let me know when we're good. So where we left off here, last thing we did was we saw our one pod in here and we scaled up in our CI/CD settings, setting our variable to 5. And we redeployed in our environment screen here and patiently waited while our application got scaled up to 5 instances. So then after entering for our, give me 1 second, sorry. We get error rates, we get latency, we get some throughput data there, and scroll down and we get some system metrics from Kubernetes on the pod usage for their cores, CPU, memory, stuff like that. The vertical lines you see on the graphs are actually deployments, so it's not just monitoring that we're looking at. It's monitoring that's aware of our software delivery activities. So putting a cursor over it, we can actually take a closer look and we can see the time that it was deployed, and we can actually get a direct link to the relevant commit. So if we want to go in there and say what changed at this deploy, when things started going haywire, or why did our memory usage go up so much, you can go in and look at the code that was deployed at that moment and see what was changed. So that's the talk that I had prepared. So we were able to build, test, secure, deploy, and monitor our application in a matter of minutes. So they call auto DevOps the fastest way from idea to production. So we can open the floor to questions here. What's up?
When you're using, when it comes to monitoring, is it an agent on, say, an instance, and what kinds of data can you get from that?
So the question was, what are we using for monitoring? Is it some kind of agent running inside of each instance, or what is it? So it uses Prometheus for the auto monitoring, and I think by default it just uses the exporters that run inside of the containers. So Prometheus for monitoring, you can like write your own exporters, or there's some third-party exporters you can use. I think there's some default ones as well, but I think for those metrics, it might be using some kind of Kubernetes specific one, or it might be using like the node exporter. But it's essentially just like an agent that runs an HTTP endpoint that the Prometheus server reaches out to and aggregates those metrics from. Yeah. Anything else?
What's a feature that you wish more people knew about in GitLab?
Question was, what feature do I wish more people knew about in GitLab? Coming up off the top of my head, but this is meant to be like an unconference style, so maybe we can open up that question to the room.
So you breeze through the web IDE.
Yeah.
Which I've
Do you want to take a second look at that?
extensively, I've used it extensively, and so I might show that because it's pretty
Okay.
impressive.
Okay. Happy to. So I will set it up to actually mirror now. Once I get out of full screen here. Okay. Change my settings. Preferences. Display. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the web IDE real quick. So this is a feature unique to GitLab as far as I know. But it, I mean, do you want to, I mean, it's a user conference, like, do you want to lend a hand? Like, it's, you can open up your files, and like, it's, you can do like quick search and stuff like that. And you know, you can edit your files. We can add a list here at the bottom. And you know, like there's a markdown preview there, and you know, we can yeah, I don't know. Like you make your changes, and like you can edit several files at once, right? We try to get it to where it's as close to an IDE experience as possible. You can change your branches, stuff like that. So once you start a commit, you see your diff here, and you can see all the changes that were done. If there were several files, you could page through them. You stage your files, double clicking them. Like to be honest, like I usually just use VS Code and push my code up on the terminal. So I wasn't prepared for a web IDE update the README, or even just add to README. And we can do the same thing as before, create a new branch, new merge request. We'll leave the page, should redirect us to here. This to that README. I mean, we're out of the web IDE right now, right? We're creating a merge request directly from it. And then you just submit your merge request. This will kick off another pipeline. Did anybody else want to see any of the features or see any of the other buttons in Auto DevOps clicked on here? So here's one of those alternate deploy strategies I was talking about. So like this one came from master, right? You can see here that the 13 jobs were for the master branch. And in this pipeline, we have all these jobs here, and we actually set up staging, right? So it wasn't skipped. So we can look at staging here. And once we've reviewed that, we can roll out, 10% to 25% to 50% to 100%. And I think each one of these are manual deploys. I don't know how it does the math there if I have 5 nodes in my cluster. Maybe it's load balancing it?
Now, is this one all auto DevOps, or does it have the CI file?
So this is all Auto DevOps too. So this project, or I'm sorry, the question was, is all this Auto DevOps as well? And the answer is yes. So this project has a Docker file, so won't need to use the Heroku build packs, but it doesn't have any kind of CI or CD configured. It's just using Auto DevOps. But on this project, I have set up the Auto DevOps settings with a different deploy strategy. And you do that over here. And yeah, so these are the deployment strategies you get to deal with. And if it's not flexible enough for you, like this is essentially just a CI/CD configuration file under the hood. So you can always copy the template file over into your project and modify it to your needs, which a lot of people do. But for just starting out and, for just wanting to start up like a mature software development lifecycle for a new project, it gives you a lot of features out of the box that are really useful. Okay. Any other questions about Auto DevOps or Web IDE or GitLab? Happy to answer any semi-related questions I can. What's up?
Has anything changed at GitLab now that GitHub got purchased?
The question was, has anything changed at GitLab now that GitHub got purchased? Yeah, like we got pretty busy for a while. I don't want to speculate as to the reasons, but we saw quite the surge in new customer signups and people moving over to GitLab, and the moving to GitLab was trending on Twitter for a while, and it was interesting. It was an interesting experience. I mean, it was went from like I think it was like in the dozens of imports per hour to thousands per hour. Our production team had a lot of fun with that. Any other questions?
How has your experience been at GitLab? For how long?
So the question was, how has my experience been at GitLab? So GitLab has been a dream, honestly. Like, it's been a really good job. It's the culture is really what blows me away. It's nice to work from home too. There's no commute. You wear your PJs to meetings, and it's not that there's a lot of meetings. They're all optional, but it's a lot of fun. And like what is it? The entire team handbook is online, and I really encourage anybody who's even remotely interested to just look at the GitLab handbook. And it goes through our values and operations and how pretty much everything within the company works. I think our first value is transparency, and I think, nope, I was wrong. Our last value is transparency. The acronym got me. I think it's our biggest value, though, if I had to rank them. And I think it's something we really hold true to, and it's something I admired when I was looking at the company from an outside perspective. But my experience has been nothing short of great. It's been work with talented people. The mentorship opportunities are good. Thank you for the question. Any others?
Your free use of the shill is complete.
Yeah, I mean, we can start wrapping up. Or do we want to open up the floor to some questions? Like, well, like reverse, right? It's an unconference.
We had an idea if anyone has their favorite Git trick. They
Yeah.
want to
Anybody have any Git tricks to share?
unconference style.
I have one. I'll share one. I'll start.
Yeah, you can't swear while you share your trick.
So, this is one of the first things I learned at GitLab. Nobody told me. I just kind of figured it out. But Git commits have a body. I did not know this for the longest time. Probably years I had been working on my personal projects and collaborating on some smaller ones with people, and I had no idea that Git commits had a body. So here's an example of that. You have your short subject line, and then you have a blank line here, and then you can use the rest of the commit body there to elaborate. And it's I linked to this how to write a Git commit message post by Chris, I think is it Beams? I don't know. But it outlines how to write a Git commit pretty well. But I was pretty impressed that there was a Git body, a Git commit body, I'm sorry.
Does it have a size limit?
None that I know of. Like, I usually just do... the question was if the Git commit body has a size limit. None that I know of. I'm sure practically there's some kind of limit, but none that I know of. I usually will just write maybe a paragraph or two. I'd be really surprised if somebody ran into a limit. Does anybody else have a Git trick to share? All right. Are we cool with wrapping up?
Yeah, I want to show something.
All right. We got Luke coming up. He's going to show us a Git trick.
Well, one is a Git trick, but then it's kind of a show you and ask you
Oh, yeah.
how we do this on
Sounds good.
Because I have GitHub shortcuts. HDMI is what I need. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I have these built into my Vim, and I copied my Vim files from Josh Mize, where is he? He's over there. So maybe he has these and I just stole them from him and he can tell you how to set them up because I forgot how to set these up. But I have a couple of Vim plugins where if I do a visual selection and then I hit Control GH, it will actually open up GitHub to that exact URL with those lines highlighted. So if I wanted to share this really quickly online, like, hey, this is those 3 lines or those 4 or 5 lines, like, I can just hit a key combo and it does that. I don't know how to do this on GitLab, so maybe this is a plugin.
Yeah.
There's a yeah, so I'll let you, and then the other one I have is if you do the same thing and I highlight these lines and then I do a leader capital V, it will actually post a gist of those lines.
That's cool.
So it takes that and throws that into a gist. So this is like a super easy way for me to take the stuff that I'm looking at and it kind of like throws it up online or gives me very easy to share like links to the code that I'm looking at right now. So those are my 2 favorite Git tricks that I have. Yeah, it's some kind of plugin, and like I said, I probably stole it from Josh Mize. Do you have these?
We should extend the plugin.
I have their equivalent in Space Max.
I'm done.
Hey, there's a space bin.
I think I might still have them in my. It's been a long time.
So, first of all, how dare you come up here and show GitLab or show GitHub when the topic is GitLab? I'm just kidding, by the way. But anyway, so like I said earlier, I use Yeah, it's fine. So like I said earlier, I use VS Code. Like you can see that in my screenshot here. But I can do something pretty similar in VS Code if my laptop will cooperate with me. So VS simple. We'll just open that example app I have here. And hopefully it works. But let's just pick a random file and highlight something, and yeah. So there's a plugin for VS Code that one of our GitLabbers wrote. I think he wrote it before we hired him actually, but one of our front end engineers wrote a plugin for VS Code where you can either highlight it or you can just have it, open, and you just open your command palette and just start typing in GitLab, and there's a handful of features available to you in that plugin, but one of them is open the active file on GitLab. Oh, there's a snippet too. Look at that.
Nice.
Public, internal, private.
Oh, sweet. Even better.
Snippet from file or selection, either one. Look at that go.
Fantastic.
Oh, it even goes into the project. Interesting. So yeah. Run npm install on my snippets now. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure there's probably a Vim plugin for it too, if I had to guess, but I don't have one. I use VS Code. Anybody else have a cool Git trick they want to demo? I can share the stage.
What's the name of that plugin?
The name of the plugin. Let me check my VS Code. It's called GitLab Workflow. Sure. All right. Yeah, I'll share the stage. Come on up.
I always have trouble getting the display working here. Okay, I use this a lot this weekend. So how many Django developers here? How many people are familiar with Django registration? Anyone? There, okay. So, can you guys see this? Okay, so this is my project. You have templates. You see I don't have registration templates. If you've ever done this, so let's go, here are my, so I had two branches. One I was doing Django, and then I was doing Django with registration. I decided to stick with the original Django, but I want the templates from the other branch. But I don't want all the other stuff that I was experimenting with coming along with it, so I don't want to merge everything. So, very simply, I finally learned that who's deleted a file or made a file so bad in Git that you just want to go back to the one that you have and you're already committed, and you check out the file, right? So you go Git check out and you get the file name. Well, you can do that across branches. So if we do Git branch, there's my branches. You see the original Django, and now I'm on my master, which is a Django project, right? I showed you that. Here's a Django project, and here's the cool trick. So if we go, okay, let's go to the Django branch, and I know in that templates directory, there's a set of templates. Bingo, there they all are. And I didn't have to bring all the other code that goes with it. I just grabbed the whole directory right then and there. Boom, I'm done. So there you go, that's my trick. Oh, and it's also good for commits. You can go, instead of giving it a branch, you can give it the commit hash and just go to this commit and get that file. I've also done that. So there you go. Even if it was 6 months ago, you can go back and find that exact file. So there you go. Enjoy. Alrighty. I think I'm about done.
Any last minute questions? Thank you. Thank you, folks. Happy to chat about GitLab or Git if anybody has any questions in person.
All right, everybody, that's it. We're ended a little earlier today, but so we've got until I think Levi's going to kick us out at 8, right, Levi? Or earlier? 8 at the latest? 8 at the latest? So if you're okay, so if you're working on something right now, you can wrap it up. But thanks for coming out, and we will see you May 17th is 200 OK. Don't forget, we got early bird tickets are on sale now, so go pick them up. Anything else? Last minute things? Anyone? No. Okay. Cool. Thanks for coming, everybody. See you later.